hangout style, chit chat, let's catch up while I tattoo more of my leg. Along my face, if they're showing up good. Did not scratch even the surface of itch that I had to get tattooed. The most relaxing spot I have ever gotten done. So I've gotten blonde hair. If I just go through like mental breakdowns every now and then. I tattoo myself or I change my hair. Does anybody else relate to that? Okay, I could be a blonde for now. When you randomly tattoo yourself on it's a Thursday at 1:15 in the afternoon, that's bound to happen. That all my hair was gonna fall out. And I was like, okay, all my hair is gonna fall out. It's not that big of a deal. I don't really know why I had it in my house. Maybe that was a different episode spiral where I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna use T27 on my hair. If you're not knowing what's going on, that's okay, because I just did all of this and I don't know what's going on. Kind of like saying it out loud for fun. I had no idea what I was doing and it turned out. I don't know if this has been muffled the whole time. This could be awful audio. I don't know if people like to refer to tattoos on themselves as trash art, but he just was like, nah. It was done. I was like, okay, goodbye. Like, I love seeing you. You're amazing, but I have to go. Fine. I'll get the shading. Like, zero, like, I died 5 times. It needed the shading. Hi guys, welcome to my channel, or back to my channel. This week is going to be hangout style, chit chat, let's catch up while I tattoo more of my leg. So I've worked on my leg in the past. I'm going to continue to fill in some background. We're going to see how far I can get on it today while we chit chat. So I have both sides of my legs numb. A lot of the background I've done throughout the middle, so I think I'm going to start on this side and keep this side covered, and we'll just see how far we get. And I'm going to try to tattoo and continue to talk to you guys while I do so. But last week we took our annual tattoo trip, and I had smaller pieces done, which were along my face, if they're showing up good. I'm in love with them. I'm so happy with the work. I'm so happy with the few changes I made with the pieces. I originally had some background worked into each piece. On the dead side, I had some spider webs that I thought I wanted, and on the right side here, I had some like light shining through. That was my concept. So I did go back and was like, oh no, we're doing too much. We're doing too much. And so we dropped the backgrounds and we left the decayed flower and we left the live flower, because each side of my sleeves, if you've seen my tattoo tour in the past, is this side is life and this side is death. So we just continued that through to my face, which is why there's the 2 different style flowers there if you saw last week's video. The problem is I am in love with the pieces, absolutely adore them. Like, couldn't have imagined it better, except it did not scratch even the surface of itch that I had to get tattooed. So that is why I am just like, I'm going to tattoo more of my leg. We have a lot of our trips for the summertime done. It's, what is it, like the second week of July. We'll still go camping, we'll still do pools, but I have a good amount of time before that probably happens again. So I figured, why not knock out some more tattoo work? Okay, I thought I was set up. I wasn't, so I finished that process, and then I took off my numbing cream wrap. I'm not going to leave the other side wrapped because I don't care enough to try to work around it. And I'm going to start on this side. It's a little more difficult to like reposition myself and show the tattooing. When I get to this side, it might be an overhead view. Hopefully we make it to that side. I would love to get this entire bottom half done, but we'll see how far out I can make it. Okay, I'm just gonna jump in. Like I'm just doing small circles that circle themselves. I need no stencil for this. I am just freehanding it like I always have in the past. I have a video where I've done past work on this. I don't know if that's showing up. Got 2 little circles right there. So we're just gonna chit chat and knock out as many of these as we can. And see how it goes. So last week, we went to get tattooed. And I was so scared to get my face done. Mind you, I had some numbing cream on, yes. But I thought, as soon as the numbing cream breaks, it's gonna be awful. That had to be the most relaxing spot I have ever gotten done, besides the back of my neck. The back of my neck and actually behind my ear. For some reason, those areas for me were like relaxing. It was the vibration of the tattoo gun and the sound that was almost like therapeutic. So I am tattooing myself. I don't know if I mentioned this in the intro because like I said, I've taken a little break and I set some stuff up over here further, but I was so scared about it and it was nothing. So I felt like it just did not fill the itch I was looking for because I expected to just go home and be like worn out from getting tattooed. Now my husband sat for like 4 hours and got drilled on, so he was exhausted, but I was full of life and had just gotten these small little pieces done. They barely took a week to heal because obviously it's all outlining. I do understand the work I'm getting is very minor compared to like heavy shading and, you know, just deep saturated work. So I don't know, I feel like it was a very, very wonderful experience. I would do that 10 times again if it was a possibility. But I definitely am not done right now with tattooing. In the meantime, also, I've gotten blonde hair. I don't know if anybody noticed, but I came home from being tattooed, and I don't know if I just go through like mental breakdowns every now and then, but I always seem to change my hair. It's like I tattoo myself or I change my hair. Does anybody else relate to that? So I came home, I was in love with the tattoos. I guess maybe I felt like that wasn't enough of a change for me. And I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna have blue and purple hair anymore. And I did a little bit of research because it was kind of tricky to think about removing the hair color. I had had a year's worth of like, it was all semi-permanent, but as it washes out, it leaves hues and different shades and things that you have to balance to be able to remove it fully, right? Also, I'm very impatient. When it starts to fade, I want to immediately cover up the fading. I don't have the patience to let it like completely fade out. So I had a real issue with that. I just wanted it out of my hair, right? Because I don't have the patience. So I looked into methods to remove it, and there is a color remover from Oops, and it's for semi-permanent bold colors. There are a bunch of different options basically, but I did choose a direct dye lifter from Malibu, and I used it with no developer. I did just the water method because it said it was ideal for blue and green. I had a very blue, green, yellow hue, almost like a minty color to my hair after, if anybody's interested in this, I used some vitamin C treatments in my hair prior to the DDL to get it as faded as I possibly could. And I had to walk around like that. I just don't like the faded look, I guess, is my problem. That's a me problem. Okay, oopsie, I forgot to turn my phone down, so I just took a phone call. Now we're gonna do our 97th pair of gloves and continue on. When you randomly tattoo yourself on it's a Thursday at 1:15 in the afternoon, that's bound to happen. So let's continue on. And I know what I was talking about, though. I did not lose my train of thought. I was talking about the hair color. So I used the direct dye lifter from Malibu. It was super inexpensive, and it just came to my front door, which is why I, in fact, walked around with faded hair color until it got here. But I used it, and I thought, as I was using it, that all my hair was going to fall out. And I was like, okay, all my hair is going to fall out. It's not that big of a deal. I'll just shave my head because all my hair is going to break off. And that's that. But it turns out it was super gentle with my hair. My hair felt great afterwards. I did use a mask, you know, a very good protein hair mask. And I ended up with, of course, blonde hair because the chemicals in it does lighten it. Now, regardless if it lightened it, my hair was already blonde underneath there from lightening it to put the color on top. So it did lighten my hair a little bit more. And when I was done, I was looking at my hair color and I was like, okay, it's super blonde. It was like a crazy blonde. I mean, it was bright yellow and some spots were orange, and it wasn't terrible. That sounds terrible, but it really wasn't. Like, it was a doable blonde, but I thought I'm gonna tone it. So I had some toner. I had T27 from Wella that I had never opened or used. Don't even really know why I had it in my house. Maybe that was a different episode spiral where I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna use T27 on my hair. And so I had some of this, and I always have developer, so I mixed up this T27, which was a warm beige blonde, or maybe it's just beige blonde. I don't know. But I mixed it up, I put it on my head, and I let it sit for like, I don't know, 20 minutes, and it turned my hair it was a pretty blonde. It was a pretty blonde, okay? I could have totally done that blonde. Except I went to sleep on it and I woke up the next morning and I was like, this is not the blonde I want. Like, it's not the right shade. It's not the right tone. So I did a little more research, and I then took Arctic Fox Girls Night, which I had plenty of that because I had used that in my past hair coloring. This sounds counterproductive, but I took my Arctic Fox Girls Night and I put it straight on my blonde, straight on it, because according to my research, my hair was a little bit warmer. It had went from like a level 9 to a level 8 blonde, and I was able to put the purple on there without it absorbing the purple, but more so being used as a toner. If you're not knowing what's going on, that's okay, because I just did all of this and I don't know what's going on. So I'm just kind of like saying it out loud for fun. But I did put the girls' night on there and I let it sit for an hour like I normally would have. And I rinsed it away and I had this color, which I feel like is a very nice blonde. It's ashy. It's very toned, but it also has like dimension to it. I don't know if the camera's catching that, but I'm very happy with it. I didn't know if I was going to stay blonde, or I had debated going brown maybe even like a light brown, which that still could be a future project. I'm a little upset I didn't film this process because I had no idea what I was doing and it turned out, okay? In my opinion, it turned out. You might not think it's like a pretty blonde, but I'm very happy with it. I've went through kind of like a shock though, because I'm looking in the mirror and I feel like a different person. So I think when you change your appearance at all, your brain has goes, well, what's going on? So it took me a couple days to realize like I had just left my hair blonde. My kids were so cute. My middle one was shocked. Like, she's never seen me with blonde hair, so she was a little shocked. I don't know if this has been muffled the whole time. This could be awful audio. Let me fix that. And she was shocked. My little one was like, oh, I love it. My oldest has actually not even seen it, but my husband was kind of the deciding factor because I kept going back and forth and I was like, oh, I don't know if I like blonde. Like, I have not been blonde in so many years that I don't know if I hate this. And he likes it. So I was like, okay, I could be a blonde for now. I don't know. I'll tell you this, I do feel like, and this is no disregard to like having the purple hair. Obviously, I loved my purple hair. I could go back to purple hair or blue hair. It would make no difference to me. But I immediately felt a little more, not adult, but like a little more put together maybe. I don't know if that's the right word, but I am looking in the mirror and I'm going, oh, okay. Maybe it like pulls together the chaos of my tattoos. I don't know. Can somebody explain what that feeling is? Because, like I said, I don't mind it at all. But for now, I'm going to be a blonde. And I could change the tone of the blonde. I don't know where that'll lead. So far I've made like very little, if that's picking up, like a very little indent here. Let's try to fill. We'll keep going this way actually. I will tell you this, I can already feel it. Through the numbing cream. I feel like I forget to talk and I just start focusing. So maybe I should put you guys overhead and we'll see how much I can knock out. And that way I can kind of maneuver my leg a little bit more. I know that this looks insane, and I said this in the past leg video that I've done. I love these little tiny circles, and they do bleed out, and they do start to become a mess, but it's like, I don't know, kind of like reminds me of collage or like just trash art, and it's on me. So I know that's not for everybody, but I think it looks just so cute. I don't know if people like to refer to tattoos on themselves as trash art, but I prefer like chaos in like work in general. Well, chaos that coordinates, you know, like that's how I collage. I feel like even though my pieces are chaotic, that they still coordinate. And it just makes sense in my brain. Let Let me finish this little section and I'll put you guys overhead and we'll see what I can knock out. My husband, on the last video, I said he was going to finish his leg. He made it, I think I said this too just now, but he made it like 4 hours worth of tattooing, and he still has a little chunk in the back of his leg. So he goes back to get that finished up at the end of July. His session was rough, like rough. He was really feeling it afterwards. And he had a lot of solid color just packed into his leg for hours. I need to make note of this for like future, when my husband and I watch videos back at some point in our lives, that I told him to numb his leg before we left the hotel, right? And I said, my tattoos aren't going to take that long, right? The longest part of my tattooing was the stencil lay, because we changed some stuff. We did a few different things. And he was like, no, I'm going to, you know, get you settled in there, and then I'll go back to the hotel and I'll have time to numb my leg. Well, he stuck around, and like we didn't really realize the time was passing. And then sure enough, it was like I was practically done. He had run back to the hotel. He was going to put some on, and then he just was like, nah. And he came back, and he sat and got color packed into his leg for at least 3 to 4 hours. First off, I don't even know. I don't get color because I know what I can do. I know what I like, but I also know that I don't think I could sit that long. If I'm being honest, people are like, oh, your outline is so gorgeous. Like, I love the way that you've done that. You know, are you getting it colored in? And I'm like, no, I'm never getting it colored in, because I know that I can't sit that long. I do the outline, right? And the outline to a piece takes 4 hours. So goodbye. Like, I have to go. I have to get out of here. So if you packed color in on top of that, I don't know. And I'm sitting here tattooing myself. So that's that perspective. I admire people that can just sit, but he sat for 4 hours and got his tattoo packed with color. I'm busy. Like, I can't make that. I'm not doing it. I have gotten some watercolor on my right arm in the past. And I mean, I can remember vividly sitting there. Oh, on my back. When I got my back tattooed, so we had the entire, which is a video, if you guys haven't seen it, I went to get my back piece done last year, or well, the beginning of it. And I sat and did the outline, and then my artist Amanda was like, are we going to fill in like some shading? I really think it needs some shading. What are you going to do? And I'm like, I was leaving. I was done. I think maybe I didn't put this in that video, but I was done. I was like, okay, goodbye. Like, I love seeing you. You're amazing, but I have to go. And my husband was like, just get the shading. Please get the shading. Like, just do it. And so I was like, fine, I'll get the shading. And I sat and I got the shading. Mind you, it was like zero, like just little. It wasn't little, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not solid color. I died 5 times. And then I went back to the hotel, and the tattoo flu that people talk about, I got it. I was so sick that night in the hotel. I was sick the next morning, like driving home. I do not handle that very well, and I'm well aware of it. But now that it's done and over with and I was able to do it, it needed the shading. So I can agree that it was worth it, but oh my goodness. I admire people that just sit and sit and sit. But I said that about my husband because it was like, and I told you so. Because I told him so. I said, go back and get some. He should have done it before we left. Regardless, though, he sat. I mean, and we've all been tattooed without numbing cream. So I guess that's the point, too. That's what he said. He's like, oh, I've been tattooed so many times without numbing cream. You know, my one issue with numbing cream is that you use it, and you're like, ooh, I love getting tattooed. This is so comfortable, right? And then you don't have it. And it's it's like your body gets unused to being tortured. So that part I can agree on with tattoo cream. Or, you know, numbing cream. Because you do become accustomed to being comfortable, in a sense, to a certain degree. And then when your body doesn't have it, it's like, hello, what are we doing? Okay, I'm going to put you guys overhead so you can see all these horrendous circles that I'm putting on myself, because I know they're not for everybody. So let's just get that, set up so you guys can see. Okay, here's what I've done so far. I'm going to switch and try to knock out like a good section of this while this side's still numb, and we're just gonna kind of wing it. So, and you guys can admire all of the just horrendous stuff that's on my leg in the meantime, until I just go to focus. And see, this side is still very numb. In my head, I get all of this done today. So that's called delusion. See, some of these old ones could probably be touched up. If I went through and touched all that up though, oh my goodness. Guys, we'd have to start all over. I'm noticing on YouTube, so I did a lot of my collage videos and whatnot as I've kind of like my junk journaling and so on. And I feel like I put up my tattoo vlog last week also, and it just gets different traffic, as do my hair videos, as do my cleaning videos. So I feel like my channel is like very all over the place, maybe point of view. But I just like to put up what I like to put up, and I don't worry so much about like what I'm supposed to be putting up, I guess. And that's the problem with maybe like traffic and I love tattooing and it's creative, but I also don't want to do that for every video. I feel like YouTube kind of hounds me and is like, zone in, you got to find something that, you know, you can stick to, but I like being creative, like how I feel for the week or the day. So I guess I haven't got the hang of it yet. I stopped. I don't know if you guys watched the shorts that I was putting out, and I am getting back on track with those. Summer break is wild, by the way. Is anybody else just loving summer break? I love it, right? But we have a very full house, and obviously there's always some chaos going on, and there's not much of a schedule right now. And so I am missing like kind of the routine of like my work day that I had prior. And so I did stop making shorts for a minute because my priority is, you know, filming and working on things that I want to get done for the week, whereas shorts are kind of just extra for me. But I also, I'm not going to lie that, hang on, I got to move back a little. I'm not going to lie that it was like a little sad for me to put the videos out for the shorts, and like they just got so much traffic so quickly. And I think I touched base on that when I did my update video, but I'm just curious if that makes sense to anybody. Like, you do these videos where you feel like you do a lot of work and you put a lot of time into them, and then you turn them into a 1-minute short and that gets all the traffic. So I'm just like, what is the internet? But at the same time, I get it. Like, everybody's on a time crunch, and we just, I guess, like what we like. I am a person, though, that like gets on YouTube and I watch a vlog. Like, I love watching a vlog. I know that's maybe lame for some of you because it's not your thing, and why would you want to watch someone else do stuff all day? But I love the creator, and I want to like go to the coffee shop with them, and I'll never meet them in real life, you know what I mean? But it's like a mom, and she seems cool, and she seems like we could be friends in real life. I just love that type of content, or like hangout style, you know, just I love that. Or cleaning. I really like cleaning videos too, because sometimes you're just scrolling and you're unmotivated, and then you see that and you're like, oh, well, I want to do that too. So you just get up and do it. Did I mention this is a total ramble vlog, or not vlog, but a total random ramble. I don't think I've stayed on subject with anything I've been talking about. See, we just filled the space. Does not have to be perfect. I'm going to try to last as long as I can with the numbing. Okay, in fact, actually, I'm going to try to knock this out, and I'm going to do it off camera so I can like really focus and get it done and not get sidetracked. And then I will come back and I will show you exactly how much I got done. Okay, I think I'm done. I'm starting to feel everything. So I got all of this filled in, which half of this up here was just done without numbing cream because it left off in just some weird pattern. And then I managed to get this section where we started and down this way. So I feel like I got, it doesn't look like much, but each little teeny weeny circle takes a hot minute. So I'm pretty happy with this. I am definitely making this a goal to fill in and finish this area back here, up here, and then obviously right in here. So I don't know if I'll make them all into videos, but that will definitely be another time that I get this finished. So if that is something you want to see me continue, just let me know below. If you think I should put the tattoo gun in its box and never touch it again, leave that comment too. I'm open to both sides. So if you're at the end of this to see the results, thank you so much for being here through, like I just mentioned before, whatever it is I'm doing every week. Thank you for sticking around, hanging out, watching, liking, subscribing, whatever it is you're participating in any way. Thank you. And I will see you guys on next week's video.